Hey, Ben Wise here, and today I want to talk about one of our benchmark fitness tests. This is a very simple test. It is a max breath hold. So you're holding your breath as long as you possibly can, right? So the test itself is pretty simple. However, I want you to set this up in a particular way so that it's consistent and also so that you can get the best score you possibly can. So I sort of have it outlined here where this will encourage you to get your best breath hold possible. And I've experimented with this a lot, so this is truly one of the best protocols that you can use to get here. Basically, realize that holding your breath will actually help you in the same session get a better breath hold later on in that session, right? Just like, if you go to snatch 80%, you're not gonna just walk up there and try to snatch it because it's gonna feel completely undoable, right? Like not able to actually be completed, which is sort of the idea with the breath hold, right? You will have some physiological responses, but you also have some psychological things that will change if you can kind of work your way up to it. So think of it as like a warm up where you're gonna be doing some easy breathing, you'll do some sub-maximal holds, and then you'll do your max hold. So I want you doing this when you wake up first thing in the morning before you do anything else, before you get any food in you, water in you. I want you to go into a different room, not on your bed, and someplace that's quiet, where you're not gonna get disrupted, where if you black out because you held your breath really long, that you're just gonna be, wondering why your timer is still going when you wake up. And that'll be the extent of what happens, right? So make sure you're in a safe environment where you're already on the ground. So it's gonna be 3 minutes of relaxed breathing, just sitting still. You could be sitting or lying if you want to. Then you're gonna do your first breath hold to RPE 7 out of 10. So something that you think is like a 70% effort. Then you're gonna breathe for 2 minutes, just kind of normally, maybe just a slight exaggeration of your breathing. Not like a hyperventilation, just sort of a controlled ventilation. And then you're gonna do a max breath hold after that. Potentially, if you're someone who's done this before and you wanna do like RPE 7, breathe 2 minutes and then do another RPE 8, breathe 2 minutes easy and then do your max breath hold, like add it and insert another one into there. That's perfectly fine as well. But at least do one solid breath hold before you actually breathe easy for another 2 minutes or so and then do your test. So make sure you do that. I like laying on my side and kind of putting my head on my arm like this. So I was completely relaxed. I can literally have no muscle activation and be completely relaxed there so I can get my best score. And then I know other people who would prefer to do it like laying on their back with their knees in like a 90-90 position, like the supine breathing that we do. Whatever position is gonna be comfortable and relaxed for you, where you can hold your breath for as long as possible. Besides that, I would say focus on getting as much air in as you can initially when you actually go to get your breath, get it all out and then packing it at the top, really try to get as much air in as you possibly can, and then just try to relax as much as possible and just kind of let the time pass and be relaxed as long as, thoroughly as you possibly can. So once you actually have your max breath hold, you're just gonna be, again, you start a stopwatch or a timer on your phone, stop it when you have to breathe, and you're basically looking at, okay, how long did I actually hold my breath? So the goal here is sort of like a pass-fail test, although realistically, you could probably go more detailed than that. But for most people, it's I want to see you be able to hold your breath for more than a minute. If you can't hold your breath for a minute, I would call that it's sort of like pass-fail, that's a failing. I really want to see people holding their breath longer than a minute. So if you can hold your breath for, 90 seconds or 2 minutes, great. That's perfectly fine. I don't really distinguish different levels of athlete based on how long they can hold the breath. I've held my breath for 5 minutes one time. I can't do that now anymore, but I don't think that has a lot of sports benefit above that, right? The main reason I'm actually giving this test is for CO2 tolerance, seeing how well you can actually cope with CO2 buildup in your system and just kind of sit there and deal with it, right? So the main reason people want to breathe in any sort of like a Metcon, for example, if you're doing a maximal test, like an open test, the main thing that triggers you to breathe faster is CO2, carbon dioxide buildup, right? You're trying to breathe it off. However, very rarely are we ever getting to the point where oxygen starts to dip down. If oxygen dips down, that means that you're pretty well trained and really CO2 tolerant at that point. And for most people, they don't have to really worry about that. But for most people, it's about getting them to an acceptable point in CO2 tolerance, which this is a great little proxy for that. So hopefully that makes sense. It's sort of a pass-fail option on this one. Yeah, let me know if you got questions, and best of luck on the max breath hold.